Good morning. Steph, I'm recording all three of these in one shot and I'll have a break, excuse me, a little bit of a break between the readings. And hopefully, I'm hoping this will work because it's about my 18th time. Okay, ready? Go. Transcription blog, agreeabilizing. Wednesday, 13 July, 1831. Got up at 9:15, went to bed at 1. Down to breakfast at 9:55. Mrs. Norcliffe and the two Daltons off to Malton election at 10:10. Meant to have gone, but sat dawdling over breakfast with Tib and then Charlotte until 12:10. Then came up to the water closet. Found my cousin had come gently, always in advance now. Ought not to have come till Sunday. 3/4 hour at the place and preparing 2 napkins. It is ages since I've used more than one. Fine, cooler, sunless, rather windy morning. Fahrenheit 70 degrees now at 1. Wrote 2.5 pages, half sheet, to Lady Stuart when Charlotte came to me, then Esther, then Tib, then Mrs. Norcliffe, who, one or the other, stayed with me till 4.25. Then finished my note, 3 pages, to Lady Stuart. Chit-chat, nothing particular. Then wrote 3 pages, half sheet, to Miss Hobart. Dressed and dinner at 5.30. Came up to my room at 7.25. Wrote a good deal under the seal to say that she was not to say a word, to send Moorgate on the 12th next month to Lady Stuart and Lady Stuart de Rothsay, and begged to know where to direct it, that it might be received the soonest possible, and finished my letter to Miss Hobart. Nothing of what I had written by way of rough draft, all different but better. Kind, but not too much. Easy style of bavardage. Then wrote 3 pages, half sheet, to Lady Stuart de Rothsay, hoping they were by this time all safe and well again in England. Knew how fully her mind must be occupied just now, but by and by, when she had leisure, begged a moment. Very, very anxious about your dear Vere. Hoped she, Lady Stuart de Rothsay, would see Mr. Freeman and hear from himself all he had acknowledged true. Anxious and unhappy when I thought of all the difficulties. If any third person could smooth them away, it was herself. Would fix no plans for myself till I heard what she had advised about Vere. For one writer, at least, all places, all modes of traveling, are alike to me, or rather, I mean to say, if I can be of the smallest service to Vere, whatever is best for her will be that I should choose for my own comfort and for my own pleasure. I have so thought of going to see the Giant's Causeway before returning to London, but my aunt will forward my letters from Shibden Hall, Halifax, Yorkshire. Conclude with my love to the dear girls, and believe me, my dear Lady Stuart, ever very truly yours, A-lister. Wrote 3 pages, half sheet chit-chat to Madame de Hageman, saying I was very anxious about Vere, as she, Madame de Hageman, was very well aware, but I would not make myself uneasy. My last accounting, I hope, had been good. Nothing would be required beyond Whitehall, but till this was determined, I would fix no plan for myself. She, Madame de Hageman, had promised to write again, and I hope she would. I am very sincerely interested in you and yours, and shall be really and cordially glad to hear from you. Apologize for my own stupid scrawl, far too stupid for me to bear the thought of letting it go unatoned by a better one. Should certainly write again when my plans were more fixed. Sent best remembrances to Mr. de Hageman, and love to the children, and, believe me, always very truly yours, A.L. At 8:50, sent George off to Malton with enclosed in the frank. Mrs. Norcliffe got me this morning from Mr. W. Cavendish, the MP from Malton, to Honorable Lady Stuart, The Lodge, Richmond Park, Surrey. My letter to herself, my letter to Miss Hobart, in which I put my letter to Madame de Hageman, and my letter to the Lady Stuart de Rothsay. Then wrote all but the first 4.5 lines of today, and went downstairs at 9.5. came to bed. Letter this morning from the Messieurs Rawson, which I have only just opened now at 12:30 tonight, at which our Fahrenheit is 68 degrees. I find that I have 1,195 pounds, 14 shillings in the bank. Have just examined and grumbled Tib in bed, standing by her, and I really think she felt it pretty strongly. So I have left her to sleep after it. The seeing her feel rather amused me. She certainly could find no one else to do this job better. So well for her. Finish, dullish, windyish morning. Mrs. Norcliffe and the Daltons had only just got back about 1 3/4 when it began to rain for a little while in torrents like waterspouts, with lightning and very loud bursts of thunder. Rained more or less the whole afternoon and evening, raining fast when George went to the post at Malton. All right, here we go. Reading number 2. Tuesday, 13 February, 1827, 11:20. 11:35. My aunt talking to George in the dining room awoke me. Finished dressing. Breakfast at 12:40. Read the paper. Wrote the whole of this page, all of which took me till 2:30. Then cut my nails. George's livery coat and jacket, very well made. And 1 waistcoat and 1 pair of smalls brought home before I was up. The man will come again at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Mrs. Barlow will be expecting me. I must be off as soon as I can. What a change in the weather. Went out at 3:20. Took George with me down the Rue de la Paix to my shoemaker in the Rue des Capucines with a pair of boots old. Direct to the boulevard, sent George home, and went to Mrs. Barlow, got there at 3:50. She wanted me to go and take a little walk, which I declined. We went to her bed at 4 and lay 1 3/4 hour, my right middle finger up almost the last hour, she being unusually well inclined for it. Not much conversation. Got home at 6 1/4, dinner at 6:25, went to the drawing room at 8:20, asleep on the sofa. Came to my room at 9:55 and wrote the last 5 lines. Fine mild day, the streets very dirty. Sent this morning to inquire after Monsieur Sinet. Very sick last night, better today. Fahrenheit 39 degrees at noon, mild and fine, 31 degrees at 10 p.m. Okay, ready, go. Transcription blog, a very fine day. Tuesday, July 14th, 1829, 5:20. Well, 12:05. Across last night thinking of Mariana. Left for the post my letter written last night to Mr. James Briggs, Horton Street, Halifax, Yorkshire, Angleterre. Gave George several commissions to do, to order horses at 2 1/4, etc., and to be back at the Jardin after my leaving the chemical lecture at 10:20. Breakfast at 6:20. Walk to the boulevard, then per fiacre to the Jardin des Plantes, and 34 minutes at 7:34. The door was shut. Would not go into the gallery, so missed the botanical lecture and walked about. Sat some time reading lesson 35, Chimie Générale, then went up to the Belvedere or Temple and stood there half hour looking about me, enjoying the fine view over and around Paris. Went into the amphitheater at 9:10. 35th chemical lecture began at 9:20. Came away at about 10:20. 24th lecture on the mollusks from 10:30 to 11 3/4. And then 18th geological lecture from 12 to 2. Home per fiacre at 2:40. Dressed. Off to the embassy at 3 1/4. Miss Hobart at the Fosters. Met her coming away. Sent in my name and inquired after Mrs. Foster. She is better. Then waited at the Embassy Lodge some time to know whether Lady Stuart would go with us to see Comte de Nose, painted glass windows. But no, it's too hot. At 3:50, drove off to the Palais Royal, and there we stood looking about us. So yet, after setting down Miss Hobart at the embassy, did not get home, having stopped by the way 12 minutes at Mrs. Barlow's at 6 o'clock. Changed my dress. Dinner at 6:30. Came to my room at 8:15. Lay on the sofa a quarter hour, then settled with George and wrote the above of today. Miss Hobart and I are now very good friends, to go on Friday to talk to her aunt, Lady Stuart, about making our little tour. Thought Lady Stuart would not like to pay more for her share than £50, but she said, "I want to contrive for me to go in this carriage." I looked and said, "Well, that is worth all now. I shall keep the bag 20 years longer." She had given me a grey reticule bag at the Palais Royal. "Now I will really set about to plan the journey." She smiled and rather colored. I believe she really does like me. At the Palais Royal, I said, "I now begin to see what amuses you." "Ah," said she, "it is not very intellectual." Right, she is not intellectual. She somehow talks little of Sibylla and did not seem moved today when I talked of her not living long. Miss Seville is not out of danger. Lady Stuart de Rosse sat up again with her last night. No going to the Jardin des Plantes on Friday. To go on that day at 2:30 or near 3 to talk to Lady Stuart about our making the little tour together. Found Mrs. Barlow very odd, endeavoring to be cold and formal. Had a letter from her aunt. All her friends against her and Jane going to Italy by themselves, but will go south as far as she can. Will be off at the end of September. Cannot answer for her health. Dare not put off till the last. Will sell her furniture. Oh, she is behaving very foolishly by her queerness to me. She poked out her coldish, clammy hand today as if shaking hands merely from the obligation to do so. Why all this? I have nor said nor done anything unkind, and if I do not go often, she knows that I have not the time. Why does she not come here? But no, she will not come to see me, but she will soon come to see my aunt. Oh dear, she wearies me. I shall even be glad when she is off. Coffee at 9:30. Came to my room at 10:30. Looking over map of France and planning and calculating journey until 11:20. Then wrote the last 7 lines. Fine and very hot day. Fahrenheit 70 degrees now at 11:30 p.m. Hung up over my bedroom chimney piece. Et voilà.